Well, Jim, on the topic of who do you suspect, this next one was sent to cornydrivethrough@gmail.com from Jay. This is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to preface this before we say anything.
Okay.
I can't imagine this is real. But on the off chance that it is, I have to ask you this because ever since I saw this email, I've been fascinated by the idea this could potentially be true.
Okay.
And I hope we're not going to be talking about something too sensitive, dealing with someone you care about. But we've talked in the past about the fact that there was a time that Stan Lane had to avoid the state of Florida. And the story allegedly is that there was a paternity suit.
Yes.
And he just wasn't coming back.
Well, he never said never. He just didn't want to get served on this thing because it was a nuisance suit.
Now, I don't want to get too political here on the drive-thru because that's really what we do on The Experience every now and then.
Every now and then?
But there is a congresswoman who's been controversial named Lauren Boebert. You've seen this woman.
Oh, she's a fucking gun lunatic. Her and her fucking idiot husband own a goddamn restaurant bar in wherever the slovenly state is that she's from, named after guns, and they have pictures of them in front of it with guns, and she wants to take guns into the Capitol to protect herself from the fucking Democrats that might smarten up and try to fucking kick her out of Congress.
So here's where the story/question gets interesting.
Okay.
Now, she is a congresswoman from, let me check, I think it's Minnesota. Is it Minnesota? Colorado, excuse me.
Colorado.
Close enough.
No, it's not. Minnesota's nowhere near
AWA. AWA ran Denver.
AWA ran Winnipeg, too.
Close enough. So this was sent by this...
Where are you going?
Listener Jay. This is apparently a post that was made on the Facebook page for Wrestle Reunion in October of 2013. So this is 8 years old, or a little less than 8 years old. And it was a post on the Wrestle Reunion page by someone named Sean Bentz. The post is, will Stan Lane be there? Perhaps he could introduce his 26-year-old daughter, Lauren Roberts Boebert, who he has refused to acknowledge all these years. She looks so much like his mom, who just turned 93, and sadly has never met her granddaughter and 4 great-grandchildren. By the way, I'm Stan's maternal first cousin. There might have been a 1990 paternity fraud, but 2013 autosomal, I don't know if that's the word, DNA is awesome. So apparently some listeners have put 2 and 2 together. This old post saying that his 26-year-old daughter was Lauren Boebert in 2013. And upon looking at her Wikipedia page, she's from Altamonte Springs, Florida, originally. Is there anything here?
I would be completely surprised, but it's a great story. And actually, I don't say I'd be completely surprised because it definitely isn't the paternity suit that we were referring to with Stan Lane in Florida to begin with. But I fail to see why that if he was indeed her father, he wouldn't have got sued over that too. So I don't know what's the matter with these people. Remember, why is it Stan also? Remember when he died a few years ago?
Yeah. He had a fake funeral for the fake Stan Lane.
Yes, for those of you out there who may not have heard this story, it was several years ago. A guy died in Memphis, and he had claimed to his wife, they got married later in life, that he had previously been one half of the Fabulous Ones. Stan Lane was his wrestling name. Of course, this was completely bullshit. And come to find out, this guy didn't even look anything like Stan Lane. And besides that, these people were from Memphis, and Stan Lane was on the fucking highest-rated television program in the town for years. And somehow this woman still believed it. And when he died, she called in his obituary saying that Stan Lane of the Fabulous Ones wrestling team had died. and people called Stan to get a comment, and he was not pleased. And they called the newspaper, him and that Sal Correnti was trying to run interference for him. They called the newspaper and said, "Can you retract this?" And well, we don't usually, or they said, "Why didn't you fact check this?" They said, "We don't fact check obituaries." Well, you should have. And he had to talk them into believing that he was the real guy. And then they called the funeral home, and the funeral home was embarrassed about it. But when they had the funeral, they still put pictures of the fabulous ones all around this guy's display because they didn't want to fucking hurt his wife's feelings, because come to find out, the rest of the family knew he was full of shit, but they didn't want to pop her bubble. And then finally, when it became a thing that was written up in the newspaper itself that Stan Lane was not dead and the whole thing was a hoax, that it just broke her little pea-pegging heart.
Where was he going on Monday nights when he said it was going to be at the Mid-South Coliseum?
Wait a minute. Now, hold on. But wait a minute. We go back. How old is Lauren Boebert, the congressperson?
She is currently 34. She was born December.
She was born?
She was born. She was
in a
born
hurricane.
December 15th, 1986.
Well, Stan was living in Charlotte. Oh, goddamn, he wasn't. He was living in Florida.
1985. That's right.
He was living in Florida for the entire year of 1986.
Well, no, it would have been 85. She was born December 86, so it would have been 1986. That's right.
Yeah, he was living in Florida because that was right before he joined the Midnight Express and moved to Charlotte. Now, I don't think we should be casting aspersions because, hey, what are the chances that Stan Lane, Sweet Stan Lane, the gangster of love, in 1986, living in the state of Florida, being a professional wrestler, would have sexual relations just on a frivolous basis? What are the odds?
Now, that note, allegedly, from Stan's first cousin, mentioned a fraudulent paternity test in 1990. Would that have been the year?
Well, he got served in late 1988, but I believe that it was finally adjudicated in 1990 that was a fraud. But that we've told that story before. I don't know that we've mentioned the exact year, but that's certainly easily obtained information. That doesn't prove anything. Oh, Stanfield, couldn't it have been a Democrat?
This is a great story. If this is true, this is an amazing story. This also means that she's an heiress to the Midnight Express fortune.
Hey, shut up. If this was 2013, she was nobody then, right?
No, I don't know what she was doing in Colorado. Let me just see here if I can find this on Wikipedia, which, of course, is always honest.
2013? No, she was like a 26, 27-year-old.
2013 was the year she obtained her concealed carry permit.
Oh.
And then in 2015, she opened a restaurant. No, she opened a restaurant in 2013. So that was the year she opened a restaurant in Colorado.
Yeah, but she was nobody on a public basis nobody dreamed she'd be anybody on a public, but she's still nobody on a public basis. But you know what I mean. People know who she is now because she's a lunatic.
And she was not involved with politics at all.
Stanfield. I don't know what to say. I'm sure it's nothing.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we can find out. But I also have an email here. Did you know that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is Tito Santana's daughter?
I did not know that.
No. Just want to level the playing field with the Republicans and the Democrats here on the show.
Well, wait a minute. Why doesn't my team get one of the Democrats and give Tito one of the Republicans?
What if Stan can get her to turn face? What if she's acting out her heel persona with the guns and everything?
I have a feeling if there's anything to this, Stan would probably like as little interaction as possible.